Okay, so there's a couple of topics currently in Boruto that I really wanted to cover, and those are future Baryon Mode Jinchuriki in Boruto, as well as the return of Kurama. Probably. Maybe. Anyways, okay, let's jump straight into it. But before we jump straight into it, I would just like to encourage you to go check out our channel's new store and definitely go cop that hoodie. Also, if you wanted to interact more with the community, engage with me and in debates and in event nights, definitely be sure to go check out the Discord down below. Now let's jump straight into it. Now, before I talk about other potential Baryon Mode Jinchuriki in Boruto, I just wanted to kind of briefly cover what it is for those who are not really familiar. I know it's been covered a dozen times. I haven't covered it myself, but I just wanted to very briefly go over it for those who don't really know what it is or aren't really caught up. So essentially, Baryon Mode is another transformation granted to Naruto by Kurama, which is way stronger than anything that he's previously showcased or been able to do. It resembles the fox a little bit more, especially around the eyes, and it works essentially by combining chakras of the QB and the host until there's no more chakra left. Now, this transformation was utilized in order to combat Ishiki, as Naruto and Sasuke were not even close to his level of power previously. Now, this is seen more of as a sacrificial gamble, as the QB will literally die in the process. Now, although it's super risky, it does have a special ability that literally shaves the life force off of anyone you're facing through physical concept because of the idea that all chakras are connected. Now, before I talk about why we haven't really seen it utilized previously and in previous Jinchuriki, I kind of want to talk about why none of them used previous iterations of advanced transformations, such as, the basic chakra mode or the chakra avatars. Now, most other bijus most likely have this ability and their own chakra modes, as they're all portions of, the same 10 tails. But there are a couple of reasons why Naruto and Kurama are unique, right? First of all, I want to start off with something that not a lot of people kind of think about when they consider the KCM transformation, but that's the 4-symbol seal on Naruto's stomach, right? This is actually a very advanced sealing jutsu from the Uzumaki clan, and not all Jinchurikis have this type of seal. Even Killer B states that it's actually much higher quality in comparison to his own iron armor seal, which is visible on his arm with the iron kanji on it. And as we know, with the exception of Naruto, B is one of the most advanced Jinchuriki, right? He's one of the closest with his own biju and one of the most advanced in general with one of the higher masteries. And even he has a far weaker seal in comparison to Naruto. Now, it hasn't really gone too much in depth on how this impacts the ability to transform, but it most likely is a pretty crucial element, as even in KCM 1, you can see how the visual design kind of stems from the 8 trigrams 4-symbol seal itself. And on top of that, the chakra reserves of the 9 tails are massive in comparison to the other tailed beasts. Naruto in general also has more mastery of his own tailed beasts, and eventually even gained the cooperation of his own QB, which all the previous Jinchuriki were not even able to accomplish. But you have that paired with the fact that he was also a reincarnation of Ashura, who was a portion of Hagoromo's chakra, who literally created the biju. And we do know that even before meeting Hagoromo, Ashura's chakra was still clinging on to Naruto, as evidence when Hagoromo brings it up. He notes that Naruto has already noticed this before. Now, these all simplify the process, but don't necessarily justify the fact that it's only unique to him, right? He just got farther than any other Jinchuriki has gone previously. Now, Kurama does state that Baryon Mode and chakra modes are fundamentally different down to their very root, but the reason why it's not utilized previously may be similar to the reason why chakra modes weren't utilized previously as well. Majority of the reason is pretty self-explanatory. There wasn't much cooperation between the biju and their hosts, and their biju definitely wouldn't sacrifice their own lives for the host, right? Also, I made a video talking about why Minato never used this, because he did have the 9 tails, but I thought I would also briefly touch this topic because it's pretty relevant. First of all, he only had half of the 9 tails and he was already dead. Now, I don't know if that would impact whether or not you would be able to use it, but it's just something to note as well. And it's possible the transformation works something like a multiplier as well in regards to strength and speed. So even if Minato used it, he might not have been nearly strong enough to deal with the threats he was facing. With only half of the Kurama and half of Kurama's chakra, it probably would have drained twice as fast as well. So, his half of Kurama probably just decided that it really wasn't worth it. Now, there is a potential for seeing either Baryon Mode or chakra mode return, as there are some bijus kind of lying around in the Borutoverse. But first, we would need to see some creation of some new Jinchurikis, and then we could potentially see it in the future. But it would have to be during some time of distress, which could most likely come towards the end of an arc. And I don't really see that happening anytime soon in this particular arc that we're in right now. Now, I'm going to cover who I think will be the potential future Jinchurikis Jinchurikis, but I just wanted to kind of explain why they're possible and why we'll probably end up seeing it in the future. Now, I know that all of you are pretty sad because of the death of Kurama, but I did also want to bring some good news. Although Kurama has passed, we do know that there still is another 10 tails lying around, for plot purposes. And after the Code Arc, it's possible that Kurama could potentially return. And the reason why I say this is for two different reasons, right? First of all, we know that the 9-tailed beasts are literally just the 10 tails split into 9 beings by the Sage of Six Paths. And who do we know has the chakra of the Sage of Six Paths? That's right, Naruto and Sasuke. Now, just because Naruto lost Kurama and Sasuke got his eye stabbed, that doesn't mean that they lost the chakra that they gained from the Sage of the Six Paths. Now, with this information, we know that it's possible for the creation of 9 new tailed beasts, but we don't know if it would be the same Kurama or a different Kurama. Most likely it would probably be different, or it could be 9 different tailed beasts in general, like very similar to how Kaguya's hybrid bunny transformation was different than any other tailed beast. Now, the second reason is kind of an extension of the first. Now, if Kurama made a genetic imprint on Naruto, then with the existing 10 tails, he might be able to recreate the same Kurama that he previously knew, right? We do know that this is a different tailed beast and they're kind of like a species, I guess you could almost say. Let me get into that in a second. Previously, we thought that when Naruto entered KCM, that he was taking Kurama's chakra and making it his own, right? That's kind of how they seemingly introduced it when KCM 1 first came about. Now, this was seemingly retconned when Kurama stated that he wouldn't have his superhuman strength from KCM anymore. But if Kurama made a genetic imprint on him, then getting him back would definitely be possible. And the best reason why I can kind of explain it is using this DNA gene and this mRNA strand, right? Now, if this DNA gene represents Naruto himself and the mRNA represents Kurama, then you can kind of see that they're different, but even if one is taken away, the imprint is left on the other, so you could still recreate, the purple strand with just the red one, right? Now, this is just a theory, and it's a very oversimplified process, but it's just to get us thinking how he could potentially come back. Now, overall, the story is moving away from Naruto, and his nerf was seemingly necessary, but just know that this may not be the end. Or I just might be in denial. Anyways, if you guys like movies like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely drop a sub for good luck, and I'll catch you in the next one.